In the last 30 seconds, your brain had about 20 to 25 thoughts. Most of them you didn't even notice, but a few of them, they changed your mood, affected your posture, maybe even made a decision for you. And here's the problem. You didn't choose those thoughts. They just appeared, like uninvited guests in your head. You're not good enough. Bam, there it is. They'll think you're stupid. Boom, popped up. You'll never make it. Pow, present. And the crazy part, you believe them, just like that, without questioning them, as if thoughts were absolute truth. Spoiler, they're not. Did you know the average person has between 60,000 and 80,000 thoughts per day? That's about 2,500 to 3,000 thoughts per hour, around 40 to 50 per minute. And here's the kicker. Studies show that about 80% of those thoughts are negative, and 95% of them are the same as yesterday. Read that again. 95% of your thoughts today are repeats from yesterday. You're not thinking new thoughts, you're replaying an old record, again and again. The same worries, the same doubts, the same negative scenarios. And because you think them so often, they start to feel true. They become beliefs, facts inside your mind, laws you live by. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Just because you've thought something 1,000 times doesn't make it any truer. If you tell yourself every day, "I'm bad at math," that doesn't make it objective reality. It just becomes your reality, a self-fulfilling prophecy. The thought isn't the problem. The problem is that you obey it, that you treat it like a command, not an option. Let's understand what thoughts really are. A thought is an electrochemical reaction in your brain. That's it. Neurons firing in a specific pattern. Neurotransmitters being released. A signal traveling from one brain region to another. It's biology, not truth. Your brain is a prediction machine. It's been optimized over millions of years to detect danger, recognize patterns, and simulate future scenarios. It's damn good at its job. But and this is crucial, it's not optimized to make you happy. It's optimized to keep you alive. That means your brain is a paranoid pessimist. It sees danger where there is none. It interprets neutral situations as threats. It constantly runs worst-case scenarios. Why? Because that used to work. If your ancestor heard rustling in the bushes and thought, probably nothing, and it was a tiger, dead, out of the gene pool. If your ancestor heard the rustling and thought, danger, tiger, run, and it was just the wind, he survived and passed on his cautious genes. The result? You have a brain that would rather sound 10 false alarms than miss one real threat. That was useful in the savannah, but in the modern world, it drives you crazy. Here's the game changer. You are not your thoughts. I know, it sounds abstract, maybe even a bit spiritual, but stay with me. When you think I'm worthless, who is the I in that sentence? Is it the thought itself, or the one noticing the thought? There's a part of you that perceives thoughts, that sees them come and go, that registers them without becoming them. That's who you really are, the observer, the space in which thoughts appear. Imagine your consciousness as the sky. Thoughts are clouds. Some are light and fluffy. Others are dark and heavy. Some pass quickly. Others linger. But the sky itself, it doesn't change. It's always there, vast, open, untouched by the clouds drifting through it. The problem is, we've learned to identify with the clouds. We see a dark cloud and think, I'm depressed. We see an anxious cloud and think, I'm an anxious person. But you're not the cloud. You're the sky. The cloud is just something passing through you. Okay, let's make this practical. A little experiment. Right now, think of a pink cow. Go on. Picture a pink cow with purple spots standing on a rainbow, eating marshmallows. Did you do it? Good. Now ask yourself, did you choose to have that thought? Or did it just appear because I suggested it? Obviously the latter. You didn't decide. Now I want to think about a pink cow. The thought was triggered externally and your brain produced it. That's how most of your thoughts work. They just pop up, triggered by external stimuli, memories, bodily states, or random neural activity. You don't consciously choose them. And now the important part, if you don't choose your thoughts, why give them absolute authority? If the thought, I'm a failure, just shows up as randomly as the pink cow, why treat it as a fundamental truth about you? You wouldn't live your life according to the pink cow, yet you live your life according to random negative thoughts. That makes no sense. There's a technique in cognitive therapy called cognitive diffusion. Sounds complex, but it's simple. It's about creating distance between you and your thoughts. Instead of thinking, I'm worthless, you say, I'm having the thought that I'm worthless. Notice the difference? In the first case, you are the thought. In the second, you're someone having a thought. That's not just semantics, it changes your brain's response. When you think, I'm worthless, your limbic system activates. Your body reacts with stress. Cortisol surges. Your breathing quickens. Your heart rate increases. You go into threat mode. When you think, I'm having the thought that I'm worthless, your prefrontal cortex activates, the part responsible for reflection and reasoning. You enter observer mode. Calm, clear. Suddenly you're not the victim of your thoughts, you're the witness. And a witness can choose. Choose whether to believe a thought or not, whether to follow it or not. Imagine your brain as an overzealous advisor. It's constantly pitching ideas. You should be scared right now. That could be dangerous. People are judging you. But just because your advisor makes a suggestion doesn't mean you have to act on it. You're the CEO. The advisor gives input. You make the decisions. When your brain says, you're going to mess this up, you can respond. Thanks for the input, brain. Noted. But I'll do it anyway. When it says, you're not good enough, you can say, interesting theory. Let's see if it's true. You don't have to fight your thoughts. You don't have to suppress or eliminate them. You just don't have to obey them. That's the difference between thought control and thought freedom. Thought control is the desperate attempt to think only positive thoughts. I must not think negatively. I must stay positive. That just creates more tension. Thought freedom is realizing that all thoughts can come and go. Positive, negative, neutral. You observe them, but you're not obligated to follow them. Let's try a practical exercise. The cloud meditation. Close your eyes for a moment, or not if you're driving. Safety first. Imagine sitting on a hill, watching the sky. On the horizon, a cloud appears. On that cloud is a thought. Maybe, I have so much to do. Watch the cloud drift slowly across the sky. It doesn't rush. It doesn't stall. It just drifts from left to right or right to left. However clouds move in your mind. Eventually it disappears beyond the horizon. Then comes the next cloud with the next thought. What if I fail? Again you observe. It passes, it fades. Then another. What should I eat tonight? And so on. The key is, You're not trying to change the clouds, not trying to blow them away, not trying to have only pretty clouds. You just let them be, you observe, and you let them pass. That's it. And every time you do this, you train your mind not to merge with every thought. You learn that thoughts are temporary events, not permanent truths. Okay, if it's that simple, why is it so hard? Because we've been taught the opposite our whole lives. You are what you think. Watch your thoughts, for they become your actions. That's not entirely wrong, but it's incomplete. More accurate would be, you become the thoughts you follow. That's the key difference. If the thought "I'm worthless" arises and you believe it, follow it, act on it, yes, it shapes your reality. But if it arises and you see it for what it is, just a thought, and still act differently, it loses its power. The problem is we've spent decades obeying our thoughts. It feels unnatural to step back. It's like a muscle you've never trained. At first, it feels weak, awkward. You slip back into old habits. The thought, "I'm stupid," appears, and before you know it, you're in the story. Feeling stupid, acting stupid, making decisions as if you are. Only afterward maybe you realize, wait, that was just a thought. That's normal. That's the process. And every time you notice it, even afterward, you strengthen the muscle. Eventually you notice it sooner than while it's happening. And one day, you have a choice. Not all thoughts are equal. That's important to understand. Some thoughts provide useful information. The light is red. I should turn off the stove. The deadline is tomorrow. Those are helpful. They give you relevant input about reality. You should pay attention to them. Then there are thoughts that are judgments. I'm not good enough. This will go wrong. Everyone thinks badly of me. These feel important, urgent. But are they really? What happens if you don't follow the thought, "I'm not good enough"? Do you die? Does a disaster strike? Or does nothing happen? Most negative thoughts are neither important nor urgent. They're just loud. Your brain yells them because it thinks they're vital for survival. But 99% of the time, they're not. The trick is to learn which thoughts give you real information and which are just noise. And you learn that through observation, experimentation, experience. What happens if I just let this thought pass? What's the worst that could happen? How often has this thought actually been right? Over time, you develop a sense for it. You become an expert in your own thinking. Imagine what your life would look like if you no longer obeyed every negative thought. When "I can't do this" appears, you simply say, "Thanks for the opinion," and do it anyway. When "everyone will laugh at me" shows up, you recognize that's just my brain running worst-case scenarios, and you do it anyway. When "I'm unlovable" arises, you realize that's an old childhood thought, not current truth, and you open up anyway. That's not self-deception, it's not positive thinking, it's freedom. The freedom to choose which thoughts you grant authority and which you don't. And here's the paradox. The less you fight your thoughts, the less power they have. If you try to suppress negative thoughts, they grow stronger. That's the white bear effect. If I tell you, don't think of a white bear, what do you think of? Exactly. But if you simply let thoughts be there, acknowledge them without following them, they lose their charge. They become what they really are, temporary neural events, nothing more. So how do you start? First, begin observing your thoughts. Don't judge them. Don't analyze them, just notice. Ah, there's the thought that I'll fail. Oh, interesting. There's that self-doubt again. Huh, my brain is playing a catastrophe movie right now. Second, experiment with distancing phrases like, I'm having the thought that, my brain is telling me the story that, there's the image that. Third, test what happens when you don't follow a thought. Run small experiments. The thought says, this will be embarrassing. You do it anyway. What happens? The thought says, you must be perfect. You deliberately show imperfection. What happens? Fourth, be patient with yourself. This is a process. You'll fall back into old patterns 1,000 times. That's okay. That's part of the path. Every time you notice you followed a thought unconsciously, that's a success, not a failure, because the noticing is awareness. Thoughts are like clouds. They come, they go, they change shape. Some are dark and heavy, others light and bright, but the sky, the space in which they appear, remains. You are the sky, not the clouds. And once you truly grasp that, everything changes. You're no longer a victim of your thoughts, no longer trapped by what your brain happens to produce. You have a choice, not the choice of which thoughts arise. You don't control that. Thoughts appear spontaneously, uncontrollably, sometimes chaotically. But you have the choice of which thoughts you believe, which ones you follow, which ones you turn into action. And that's the only freedom that truly matters. In this very moment, a thought appears, and another, and another. That's okay. Let them come, let them go. You are the space, vast, open, unchanging, and that has always been enough.